So it's been a crazy week this week for the organisers of the Mise Éire Festival. For those outside of Ireland, this is a cultural festival that has been organised and promoted in Leitrim in Ireland, and it has received massive backlash. Backlash from who, you might be wondering? Well, backlash from so-called Irish people, the self-hating, self-loathing, Irish-hating far left, or as this man, Mr. John Wilson, would call them, the intolerant left. John, has your theories on the left been proven beyond any shadow of a doubt this week?
I can think of greater adjectives to use to describe these people. But anyhow, to call these people far left loonies, that's too cutesy. These people are anti-free speech zealots. They are totalitarians. And the vast majority of these people are a modern day plague in Irish society. And the remaining few are just useful idiots. Drumshambo is a beautiful town in Leitrim. It's located in an absolutely fabulous scenic area. It's wonderful. But Drumshambo is now a symbol of intolerance. And Drumshambo is going to be known throughout the world as a symbol of intolerance.
What a sad stain on Drumshambo that is. And just to give a little bit of extra context, because you and I are obviously fully briefed on what's going on here, but for people listening in from maybe outside of Ireland, so a festival of celebrating Irish culture has been organised in a beautiful village. It has received opposition, and the opposition has mounted and mounted to the point whereby the original venue was cancelled. The organisers have had to move elsewhere, and this has reached far and wide. And as you can see from the screenshot here, and this, I want to highlight rank hypocrisy from so-called Irish men and Irish women here. Leading the charge, you can see here, is this so-called rap trio, if that's what you want to call them. That's being very generous. Kneecap, nauseating free speech hypocrisy. The Irish rap trio have led the charge to have far-right music festival cancelled. So it seems Kneecap are in favour of censorship after all. This week they led the charge to have the Mise Éire Festival banned on the grounds that it is far-right. And this is the group of people that were, one of them was hauled into court recently over their views and opinions that they expressed on Palestine, which they're free to do. You can agree or disagree with them. And they were crying and weeping, and there was wailing, and there was gnashing of teeth. Oh, we shouldn't be censored. Oh, we need to have our free speech protected. And here they are, 2 weeks later, calling for the banning of a far-right Irish festival in Leitrim. You couldn't make this up.
They should change their name to the Gobshite Trio. They are your typical barroom Republicans. If these morons, if somebody came in, if they saw an Armalite, they would faint. If they saw blood, they would faint. But these morons are shaping many of our youth. Many young people are absolutely obsessed with them. They think that they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. They are three talentless morons, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but obviously the youth might be listening, going, "Well, John, you're just an old fuddy-duddy. You're just an old crusty." And kind of you are, but so am I a little bit. I'm not just as far down the crusty road as you are, but I'm getting there. And I mean, like, I still love alternative music.
You're catching up.
I'm catching you. So I just think these people are loathsome as well. And it's not just, in case we're thinking about, oh, they're knocking the young generation. It's not just these trio, if you want to call them that, but it's also older hands here as well. This one takes me to the park. So Christy Moore, the old
Crusty Moore.
he's been coming out as well. You know, I don't know what's been slipped into his spring water recently, but he's lost the plot completely. So he's calling for the banning of this. And for those who aren't in the know, he's an old Irish folk rebel song singer, and he wrote a song a long time ago, and that's a picture of him in the bottom right when he had his hair and he didn't have such a big belly. It says, "Let's have the truth," and section 31. And he actually wrote a song. Now listen to this. This is the lyrics of the song that Christy Moore wrote in 1983 Who are they to decide what we should hear? Who are they to decide what we should see? What do they think we can't comprehend here? What do they fear our reaction might be? Section 31 on the TV, Section 31 on the radio, Section 31 is like a blindfold. Section 31 makes me feel cold. Well, may he shiver in hell, Christy Moore, and the hypocrisy of him actually outdoes Kneecap.
Free speech for me, but not for thee.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, Rick, that I'd say the vast majority of these so-called talented artists they were asked to sign this petition and they didn't even read anything about it. They just signed it. They blindly signed it. The reason being that in the totalitarian Ireland of today, if they hadn't signed the petition, then they would have been shunned and they wouldn't have received invites to the latest far left festival or far left love-in. As I alluded to on the last podcast, these are the Be Kind Brigade, the most vicious, vile human beings that have ever walked on this earth, not alone in Ireland, but on this earth.
Well, again, just to put this into context, what he was singing about or moaning about back in 1983 was this Section 31 was brought in part of a broadcasting act that was actually lifted in 1994. So, for example, when Gerry Adams was being interviewed on TV, they didn't broadcast any of his stuff. And then when they did broadcast him, they would show his face and they would have his lips moving, but they wouldn't use his voice. They would, and I think to antagonize, they would usually get an Englishman to do a voiceover for Gerry Adams when he was on the BBC. But this is just to give a little bit of background. But let's hear now from the organizer of this Mise Éire festival, a chap by the name of Stephen Kerr, I believe. And underneath this video, in the description box, there'll be a link through to his website. So if you like the sound of this, or you like the look of this, or if this is something that you might be interested in, please feel free to go and check it out. But let's hear what he had to say when he got the news that he'd been cancelled. So we'll hear from Stephen now.
We have some bad news and we have some good news. The bad news is that unfortunately a small group of politically controlled radical lefties have managed to cancel our Mise Éire festival in Drumshambo. This was due to an ongoing campaign of harassment, intimidation, bullying and criminal defamation, and we will be making criminal complaints to the Gardaí about some of the main individuals in this campaign. Now, the good news. The good news is that Mise Éire Music and Cultural Festival is going ahead as planned on the 23rd of August from 2 p.m. till 11 p.m. on private land not far from Castlebar. We're offering refunds for anybody who would like a refund. That's available to you. But just to say that this event is going to be bigger, it's going to be better, and we'd really appreciate all your support at this time. We've already sold over 400 tickets. We'd love to make this a huge success, this event, which we know it's going to be. Let's stand up and show these radical extremists that we care about our country, we care about our culture, we care about our heritage, and we care about free speech. See you all on Saturday, the 23rd.
So there you have it. That's the organizer. He doesn't really look like an extremist, although, you know, a lot of people, you know, look very innocuous that are capable of crazy things. But this guy doesn't seem to be like he's trying to stir any pots here. Just looks like he wants to put something together, and he's just batting off the left for his troubles.
I know Stephen a long time. Himself and Suzanne Delaney, his partner, are two of the greatest Irish people ever in this country, ever to be born on the island of Ireland. This is a fight. This is a war for free speech. Free speech in Ireland died this week. It officially died this week in Drumshambo. A small group of extremely, I would class them as extremely dangerous radicals, forced the cancellation of this festival. And all because they cannot tolerate the opinions. They cannot tolerate alternative opinions. These people are zealots. They are anti-free speech zealots. And the man who spearheaded this campaign is a Sinn Féin councillor.
That's not him.
Now, I'm not even going to name him, but suffice to say that he is a councillor for Sinn Féin, a political party that can't even define what a woman is.
Mhm.
And I think this councillor is living, this Sinn Féin councillor is living proof why Sinn Féin should never, ever, ever be given the levers of power in Ireland. They have no place in government in a democratic country. Well, as democratic as Ireland still is.
Yeah,
Let me
for the time being. And just to wrap that statement that you've just made there, you know, it contains various elements. This picture, by the way, and this is not the Sinn Féin question.
Look at Woody.
This is not the Sinn Féin councillor in question. This is a chap by the name of Woody, who also goes by the name of Merrill. This picture, I believe, John, was taken during the Dublin anti-immigration, anti-government protest that happened back in April, and of course also in June of early this year. This person, and he's been popping up around the place. I think he appeared in Sligo, or was it Galway, being very antagonistic as well. That's actually standing behind a barrier, and that was a counter-protest that was supported by groups like People Before Profit and Sinn Féin. I understand they endorsed the counter-protest against tens and tens of thousands of Irish men, women, and children peacefully walking the streets, exercising their right to freedom of speech and freedom of protest. And that's what was opposing it. And that's what was backed by Sinn Féin. And that's what has ultimately resulted in the short-term win for the venue being cancelled. But I feel maybe this will actually set a touch paper off, and there'll be hopefully a bigger backlash against this, and this will only cause the movement to grow.
Well, Sinn Féin, or the New Communist Party of Ireland, that's really what they should change their name to, or the Woke Globalist Party. Many people are still drawn to Sinn Féin because of the name Sinn Féin. The Sinn Féin of 2025 is not the Sinn Féin of even 20, 25 years ago. It's definitely not the Sinn Féin of 1998. They have, what Mary Lou McDonald should remember, and the rest of the leadership should remember, is that the majority of their support today is transient. Many, many, many thousands of real Republicans, of great Republicans, have abandoned Sinn Féin, and they regard Sinn Féin as being traitors. I meet them at all of the protests that I attend. I talk to them on a regular basis. But unfortunately, there's not a cigarette paper of difference between Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and Sinn Féin. There's
That's
not.
the thing.
But there's not.
No, and just to give a little bit more context, this is one of the people that would have been, let's just say, against Stephen Kerr and co. Going to the festival. And just to give some information as well, we're talking about a venue with musicians that will be present, guest speakers that will be present. There's no children there. I don't think it's not an event for children. So it's just adults there in a venue. There'll be, I believe, debates. There'll be people speaking on certain topics. There'll be food there. There'll be catering. There'll be some music there. That's it. That's it. They're not walking down the streets banging drums, not to my knowledge anyway. And even if they did, there's no problem with that. They can do that if they want. But it's a closed venue with adults paying money and traveling to simply have a day out.
I was a security consultant for the event in Drumshambo. It was going to be it was a very, very well organized. I mean, Stephen and Cliff and Suzanne did the organizing. Absolutely, it was going to be a fantastic event. It was going to attract about 600 people into the town of Drumshambo. And these people would have all spent money in the village or in the town. But no, these anti-free speech zealots decided no. They weren't happy with the opinions of some of the speakers, some of the participants. Which in 2025 it is shocking. This is shocking. It's shocking what's happened. I mean, I've known for several years that the danger that free speech has been under here. But free speech, there is no free speech in Ireland anymore.
No. And here's how I think you can tell if you're for free speech or not, just on a personal level.
Yeah.
As much as I can't abide Kneecap or Christy Moore or these people in this picture, right? If they were to hold an event anywhere in Ireland, no matter, or anywhere, period, I couldn't care less, right? I wouldn't spend any time publicizing it. I wouldn't spend any time even speaking out against it. I wouldn't even take it under my attention, John. And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. How many far left events have the so-called the so-called crazy far right ever tried to either counter or shut down? I think the answer to that is zero.
Zero. No, there's no. These people, you either go along with the narrative that they're pursuing on the day, or you just shut your mouth. There's no room for discussion. There's no room for debate. If you say that you're against mass uncontrolled immigration into Ireland, no, you're far right. You're a Nazi. You're a fascist. One of these geniuses called me a Nazi and a fascist below in Sligo. I mean, listen, this is just, it is intolerable. But unfortunately, the elephant, or the rather large elephant in the room, is the fact that a very high percentage of Irish people have their heads firmly buried in the sand, and they are steadfastly refusing to stand up and be counted. They don't agree with this insanity that's happening right before their eyes, but they don't have the courage. They do not have the courage.
And that's a real rub, you know, when you and I have seen when we've been together at various locations on and off over the last 6 months, we've seen, as we walked streets of various places, we've seen them lined, the footpaths and the shop fronts lined with people who would be quietly supportive of the people that were on the street. But they wouldn't come forward and join them for fear. And that's what it is, fear of being labeled and demonized and victimized. And the result is they just stay in their little place in their head down and give you a nod or a beep of the horn. But that's as far as they'll go. And that's ultimately what could put the nails into our coffins when it comes to this whole business of freedom of speech.
But unfortunately, the sad reality is that much of this fear is justified, because if you're in a job, if you're working, and your employer doesn't like your political views, your life can be made very, very awkward. And even for people applying for jobs, their social media posts are being monitored. Their social media accounts are being monitored by prospective employers. And if they don't like your opinions, or that if they don't like the post that you're sharing or the opinions that you're expressing, you will not get the job. I am aware that I was approached by a person some time ago in relation to this person had got a job in one of the famous discount shops that are sprung up all over Ireland. And this person showed me this person was required to undergo a course, and this person had to sign a document. They had to undergo a course and sign confirmation that the course had been undertaken. And in that course, this person had to sign a form accepting that there are multiple genders, that it's not just male and female anymore, and that they couldn't remain in employment if they didn't sign the form, and if they didn't accept the lie, the falsehood that a man can identify as a woman or a man can become a woman. But this poor old devil needed the job and needs the job, was very unhappy about having to sign this document, and contacted me, and we had a word. Now I referred this person to a solicitor, and we'll see what happens. But we are living in a tyranny.
We are.
We are living in a tyranny here. I mean, Ireland is a totalitarian state. Whether one likes to, if you want to say I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, fine. But unfortunately, what I'm saying is real. It is very, very real.
Better a tinfoil hat than a pair of blinkers, eh?
Exactly.
Give me the tinfoil hat. I'll take the tinfoil hat, because you know why? At least they can still hear, and at least they can still see, and at least they can still move around. You can't do that with blinkers on. You can't do that with your head in a bucket of sand. And this, just to wrap this up, I appreciate you hopping on. And for those that don't know, John is a an ex-Garda. Was in the Guards for a very, very long time. He knows what
Very
he's
long
talking
time.
about when it comes to community policing, community liaison. As he said, he was acting in the capacity of a security consultant for this festival to make sure that it was going to go ahead completely peacefully and that it was done completely above board and legitimately. And even with that, it still got torpedoed. So the headline read, far right music festival cancelled after Irish artists sign open letter. And to be honest, they should take those little brackets away from far right and put them around Irish. I would say far right music festival cancelled after Irish artists sign open letter opposing it. So Kneecap, we've talked about, Christy Moore, Chris O'Dowd, I don't even know who that is, and some 600 other prominent Irish, 600 other prominent Irish artists reportedly signed an open letter. Mise Éire, planned from Drumshambo. We've already heard from the organizer. It's still going ahead, albeit at a different venue. So the Mayflower, which is the place that this was originally supposed to have taken place in, the venue, said, we regretfully wish to inform the public that it will not be held there. This is due to terms and conditions not being complied with. It comes as a torrent of people signed an open letter from Leitrim and Roscommon against fascism since it was circulated on Friday. People got the fact that the far right were trying to throw their weight around. This is gaslighting of the Hast order. Who's throwing their weight around here? It's not the far right.
Yeah. Look at these idiots should look at the definition of fascism. They are the fascists. They are the fascists. They are the
it's a mind game.
These people are the these people are the totalitarians. These people are the fascists. Now, in relation to the Mayflower Committee, the chairman deserves great praise, Mr. Sean Wynne. He deserves great praise, and the pressure that he's been put under, it's horrendous. He has been bullied and harassed. It was the committee members made this decision, not the chairman. The chairman believes in free speech.
And even this comment, but John, even this comment that the far right are going to throw their weight around, again, it's inside a venue. There's going to be music. There's going to be
John Waters. Good God.
Waters. You know, there's going to be debates happening in there. There's going to be some food. And I believe it's not even a 3 day, it's only a 1 day thing from like 2 p.m. until around about 11 o'clock at night. Then everybody goes home and there's no protest or march down the street. No one's going to be banging a drum or shouting, get them out, anything like that. And again, even if they did want to do that, they're free to do that. But I'm saying it's about as innocuous as it could possibly be. And they're saying here, the Mayflower has a long-standing tradition as a music venue. Whoa! Is that you getting raided there by the guards?
It's a dog.
Don't worry about even the dog. Listen, even the dog's getting pissed off about this. Even your dog. I think your dog knows what's going on in Drumshambo and he's getting worked up. And just lastly, if it's permitted to go ahead, we believe the Mise Éire Festival will tarnish the proud history of the Mayflower as a venue that's brought people together from all backgrounds, safe and inclusive, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is it is going ahead whether or not they like it or not. Extreme close up.
It is going on, yes. Now, she's just give me 1 second, sorry. Just 1 second.
No, tell you what, listen, just all right. Well, there you go. This is about as real as it gets. And the bottom line is this festival is going to go ahead whether or not it's opposed or not, whether or not Christy Moore likes it or not, whether or not Kneecap likes it, whether or not Sinn Féin likes it or not. It's going ahead whether they like it or not. Is that a fair statement? The show must and will go on.
The show must go on. The show will go on. The show is going to be bigger and stronger and better than it was going to be, because now people are more determined than ever that they are going to travel to Castlebar to the festival, and we're all going to have a fantastic, wonderful day celebrating our culture and our music and listen to proper discussion, debate, and we're going to have arguments, of course, as well, because we all don't agree on everything. Which is fantastic. We all believe in diversity of thought. We all, we're not sheep. We all have minds of our own, and we do use our own God-given minds. But just one little point, these individuals are now, they're now scouring, they're now searching Castlebar to try and find this new venue. I kid you not. They are trying to locate, they're trying to find the location of the Mise Éire Festival in Castlebar, and they are trying to find out, I kid you not, after having it closed down in Drumshambo, they are now searching around Castlebar looking for the venue. This is coming from an insider, from one of their own lunatics.
They should have put out. The organisers maybe should have put out that they're gonna have it down in County Kerry somewhere, and have them running about like Muppets down there instead. Throw them a curveball. But listen, the show will go on. It will not be stopped. It cannot be stopped, and it must not be stopped. So it's still a week or two to go yet. I'm going to wrap this up. Check out the description box underneath this video. There'll be a link through to give you information about the festival. If you're interested in it, if you want to go to it, and there's still tickets available, you can purchase them there. And no doubt we will revisit this topic, as I'm sure the fans of the flames of division and intolerance will be fanned even further by the intolerant left between now and the 23rd of August. So for now, and I appreciate, I think you might even be doing a little road trip down that neck of the woods later on today.
I will, yeah.
If you do, a good luck to you.
We will not yield. We will not yield. Free speech is so important. We will not yield. This festival is going ahead.
I like it. We will not yield. You're a very quotable. You're a very quotable man, John. Do you know that?
Well, that's for others to judge, not me.
Well, I'm judging it, so it's my channel, so I get to say, and so say all of us. And if you agree with that, give this video a thumbs up. Share this. Listen, put this content out. Cut and paste the link. Drop it into groups. I don't care what you do with this footage. You claim it as your own. Do whatever you want with it, but get the message out there. This cannot be allowed to happen, and we will not yield. So, John, for now anyway, big thanks to you for hopping on today. That's John Wilson. I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media. Over and out.